and welcome to the Hamptons and Montauk. My name is Sandra K. Thank you for tuning in. Today I am delighted to introduce you to an enchanting, charming, and very talented woman, Nina Ross. Nina is the author and the illustrator of the children's book series, The Adventures of Montauk Mike. Let's meet Nina. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
And so enchanting and so delightful. The set is so gorgeous with all the series of the books. Nina, I'd like to start by asking you to share with us your educational background and your background in the arts that led you to write a children's book and ultimately led to the series.
Well, I've always been an art person. I was not much of an athlete growing up, so I did the art summer camps and the art schools. And then when I went on to college, I did a BFA, a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I also minored in creative writing. And that's where I first was introduced to the idea of writing children's stories. And I said, oh, this is what I would like to do. But it's not that simple. So it took many years to figure out how to do it. And but while I was preparing, and I always took classes, like continuing ed classes at the School of Visual Arts, and after work I would go in the evenings in New York City and take illustration classes with, say, New Yorker cartoonists or animators. I took a class with Don Duga, who worked on Frosty the Snowman, and Arnie Levin, who's a cartoonist for the New Yorker, and other classes.
So what made you come up with the idea of a shark for a children's book?
Well, I wanted to do a children's book, and I had already done a short story with a shark and a tie, and it was an idea that came to me many years ago, not many years ago, actually 2008.
Yes.
I was on Martha's Vineyard, and they filmed Jaws there, and they're very proud of that. And all the restaurants and the bars play the movie on a loop. So the film's always like kind of broken up because they play it so much. So while I was there was a shark sighting, and it made the papers, and it was a big deal. And I thought it was funny because oh wow, it's like maybe it's the shark. And they were all like, well, where's the shark now? Is it over here? Is it over there? And I was wondering what the shark was doing. What's he looking for? So right away I wrote a little story, very short, with drawings, with a shark, with a tie. And when I decided to do the children's book, I went back to that story because it was short and simple.
But you made it take place out here in Montauk, and your whole series speaks to animals and nature and everything that we find and live here in the Hamptons and Montauk.
Right. So originally the story was not taking place in Montauk, but when I met a publisher, she said, well, if you change it to Montauk, I'll publish it. And I said, deal. Okay,
there you go. So, that's great.
So but it turns out that that the story Jaws took place out here. So based on Frank Mundus, who caught the shark in Montauk, and the writer of Jaws used to vacation out in the Hamptons and Bridgehampton, and so his story takes place out here. They just didn't film it out here, and I had no idea, so I didn't plan that.
Yeah.
So that was just fun, and so shark. It just so happened I already had a story with a shark. And
great. Let me ask you about watercolor, because your illustrations are in watercolor. Speak to us about that medium and why you selected that for this book and your series.
Right, so I originally, when I was working on the character over the years, I started on the iPad, thinking, oh, I'm going to do it on the iPad. I could work anywhere. I could, do it when I'm traveling. And I was trying out different apps and drawing apps, and I would learn them, and I said, this is just taking too long. And I said, what am I doing? I said, I like watercolor, and why not?
Sure.
So I went with what I like, rather than what I thought would make sense, because everything's technological these days.
Yes.
And I said, no, I'm going to choose watercolor. And this way I have...
It's a great way to live in general.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
And it has to do with water animals, so
Sure.
that's good too.
So
Yeah.
let's speak to some of the books. Your first one was Montauk Has a Hungry Shark.
Yeah.
And you humanized Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to us about what you were thinking in writing this first book.
So, again, it came from the original story I wrote many years ago, but the original story was he's looking for the perfect meatball sub.
Okay.
So I changed it to ice cream. He's looking for the perfect ice cream because I thought that would be more appealing to children, just an ice cream sundae.
Sure. We all love ice cream sundaes.
Right.
Yes.
So the original idea was a meatball sub that he was looking for, and he goes through all the towns: Montauk, East Hampton. He stops off at the pond to swim in East Hampton, Southampton, and he ends up in Sag Harbor, and that's where he finds the ice cream.
Okay, and he meets the girl in the pink dress.
Right, she's the one who, well, she shows up in the beginning of the story, and he's acting out, and she sees through his disguise. The tie is his disguise, and she just sees right through it, and that's it. She leaves, and then she shows up at the end of the story when he has another tantrum, and then she says, "Look, if you want an ice cream, I know where the best one is. Follow
Right.
me."
That's great.
So they go together.
And
they find the
there's a big friendship theme that runs throughout your books. And moving on, we went on to The Lonely Shark.
Mm-hmm.
And that you told me you wrote during COVID. Is that?
It actually, I wrote it before the lockdown, so I didn't plan that either.
Okay.
It just so happened that the lockdown, well, by the time we were in the editing process, we were all on lockdown. And that's when the kids were not seeing their friends or their relatives. And so I just think it just worked out. And so in that story, that's actually, I would say, my favorite story, because he's looking for his friend who helped him find the ice cream. And he meets a bird, a sparrow, who's helping him look for his friend. And he works really hard. And that's when I introduce all the farm animals.
Right.
So that would introduces the North Fork in that story. So there's the big duck, and that's what, goats and sheep.
Even.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you then have the lucky
Mm-hmm.
shark. And the coloring, as we are, is appropriate to Christmas and to St. Patrick's Day and some of the holidays. And Montauk Mike finds a treasure, a pearl.
Yeah.
And you then created the theme in that story that he felt better when he actually gave the pearl to the little girl in the pink dress. Which a lot of wonderful messages that run throughout your book and the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we have here the busy shark.
Mm-hmm. That just came out this summer.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great. And there was a theme there of treasure versus trash. Do you want to speak to us about that?
Well, sure, because Montauk Mike likes to collect treasures. So when the idea first came to me, when there was the article about the shark sighting, I was wondering, what's he looking for? They just see a fin in the water, and I said, what's the shark doing? So I think maybe he dropped something, or maybe he has, what does he have? So he has treasures. Montauk Mike has treasures, and he has all kinds of things. He has toy drums, he has broken guitars, cell phones, and I actually lost a cell phone writing one of the books, and in the ocean, so he has my cell phone.
Crabby crab.
Crabby crab. And so he has treasures underneath the ocean, and really they're things that wash up into the ocean from what we throw away. He doesn't know that, but he learns in this book that where they come from. It actually comes from so the girl in the pink dress shows all the animals. Well, this is where the trash is. It's people not throwing the things away in the beach, and then they end up washing.
And they end up cleaning up.
They end up cleaning it together. So Crabby Crab thinks it's trash because it's blocking his home and he can't get out. There's one of his treasures, and so they fight. And they go to the farm, and then they fight. All the animals fight again. They go, no, it's trash. It's treasure. So the goat thinks it's treasure because he likes to eat trash.
Okay.
And the pig thinks it's trash because nobody wanted it anymore.
But at the end, they realize they all work together in
But
cleaning the beach.
For some people it's trash, and for some people
And
it's treasure.
it was a treasure to all work together and help and give back.
Right,
Yes.
right. They work together in their own way on the beach, and they throw away all the trash.
That's great. And now in your Christmas book,
Mm-hmm.
which is very exciting, there's also music. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Right, so in the book, there's 2 songs, and the first one, I wrote them all, but we say Montauk Mike wrote them. And then there's another character, the snail. So there's 2 songs, very simple. So if a child wants to play them on a piano, the sheet music is in the book as well.
Yes.
And so I don't know how to write music, but what I did, I ended up singing into a iPhone, and somebody put the notes
Do you think
to.
we'll see more music throughout your books coming up in the future?
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Maybe.
You'd have a children's piano book.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
beginner's book,
Mhm.
which would be great.
Hmm. And it's fun because there's a music program out here called Hampton's Learning Cottage, and they played the music. I went to do a reading, and the kids surprised, and they played the songs.
Yes. And then lastly, now there's also an activity book, which is a great children's book, which has, tell us about it, what we can find in there.
So that book did come out as a result of the pandemic. I
Okay.
had just finished Lonely Shark, and there was a need. Some stores were requesting activity books because the kids were at home and not at school, and the parents wanted to keep them busy. So put this book together. It has puzzles and mazes and word
search.
and stickers. There's stickers. I like the
Stickers
sticker
are
page.
great.
Yeah, so that came out of the pandemic.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Nina, what else can we look forward to? You mentioned something to me about bilingual
Mm-hmm.
coming forward, which
Right.
is terrific. You want to share with us?
So we're working, it's almost done. I've had 3 translators, and the first book, Montauk Has a Very Hungry Shark, will be in Spanish.
Fantastic.
Yes, and it's actually going to be in both languages. So if a child wants to learn English, they can learn English, and if a child wants to learn Spanish, they can learn Spanish, because we're going to have both languages on,
That's very
on the
exciting.
page. Right.
We're all going to look forward to that.
So and I'd never done it, but took 3 translators. I had a Spanish teacher, a linguist, and a native.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Nina, we have another treat in store for the audience.
Yeah.
You're going to share with us
Mm-hmm.
how to draw Montauk Mike.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Okay,
Take-
ready?
Yes.
Great. So there's Montauk Mike. I'm going to draw him, but see, he's not your typical shark. So sharks have a lot of fins, and I don't draw all the fins. He's a cartoon, so I actually just have a few fins on him. And so he's not a realistic shark.
He's a happy shark.
He's a happy shark. Right, and I'm going to draw him without his tie, because when he's underwater, he doesn't wear the tie. So, let's see. Okay, and he has a nice big fin here.
And children and adults, anyone out there, if you have a piece of drawing paper and you want to follow along and see what Nina's doing, it'd be a great activity. Let's take a look.
Okay, he has a fin here. And he has, it's a little messed up in the line. He has, the gills are usually lower, but I did them up high on purpose. And he has a big eye. And the eyebrows, sharks don't have eyebrows, but eyebrows are very expressive. So you can change the personality with, you can make them look angry, you can make them look happy, excited with just the eyebrow. And then he's a happy shark, so I always have a nice big smile on him.
And does he always have his teeth No, not when
No.
no. Okay, when his mouth is closed, he
All
doesn't.
right, a little crooked on the bottom, but and so he has I don't know if you can see that. And if you have a dark gray marker or something, you can go in and
That's interesting. You start from, any reason that you drew the line from the tip of his nose down to the fin?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you have a dark marker or gray crayon, you can color in here. And so he's not wearing his tie, but I can add his tie too.
Sure,
He only
add his
wears it
tie.
when he's out of the water. I don't have
Okay.
the red marker.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Anything else you'd like to share with us about the art of drawing and what one should think about or concentrate on or plan for?
Well, I wouldn't recommend
Doing it this way.
way.
Okay.
I
right.
would do it like a flat on a table.
Right.
And start with pencil and get your idea. And then with cartooning, it's really good to have black lines.
Okay.
And you can color it in with any color you want. And it's good to look at references. So you might want to look at what a real shark looks like maybe on your iPad or on your computer. And then you get an idea of what they actually look like. And then you like to change it. You want to put it's your shark, it's your caricature, so you can do anything you want. And so it's good to have reference, but then change it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
So here he's lost weight. He's on it. He's not eating too many of the candies. So each one of my books, he likes to eat what the people eat. So in the first book, it's ice cream.
Yes.
Second book, donuts, cupcakes, Christmas cookies, snow cones for the summer book. And so he likes what the people eat.
Right. Well, you've humanized him. He likes to do what people on land do. And you showcase that throughout the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where he meets with the farm animals.
Right, so this book,
Yes.
in the Christmas book, all the friends have already been established. So all the books stand alone as a story. So if somebody just wanted one book, it stands alone. But if they follow along, he meets more and more animals, more and more animals. And this one, it's all the animals, and they meet together for a Christmas party at the farm.
That's great.
Yeah.
And some of the other themes, though, are giving back, sometimes seeing, you say, what's in front of you, you don't even realize, and that's pointed out to Mike by the girl in the little pink dress. It's all great lessons for us.
Right, so and when he's looking for his friend in the second book, he works really hard. He's asking all the animals, have you seen my friend, a girl in a pink dress, about 3.5 feet tall, more or less. And he asks all the animals, and he gives up. And the sparrow is helping him, and then they finally find the girl in the pink dress, and she says, look, you've had a friend helping all along. He says, oh, I have 3 friends now. So he works really hard to find his friend, and makes a new friend. So every book, I introduce more animals and more animals.
Nina, now I know you mentioned to me you have a number of events coming up out here in the Hamptons, Montauk. Please share what we can look forward to.
Yeah, so right now we're busy with the Christmas readings. So the weekend after Thanksgiving, which is the 3rd, at Santa's Christmas Tree Farm in Cutchogue.
Yes, I've done a show with her. It's a magical place.
Yeah, so that's 1 o'clock. And then the following week on the 9th, on a Friday, at the Ross Lower School on Butter Lane, there's a book fair, and I'm doing a reading at 3:15, and I'll also sign books. And that's at Ross Lower School. And then the following day, the 10th, at Petite Blue at Red Horse Plaza in East Hampton, there's a Santa's Coming at 4 o'clock, and I'll be there too. And then the following weekend, on the 17th, on the Saturday, is Barnes & Noble in Riverhead, 11 a.m. And I'll be
You are a busy lady. You and Mike are both very busy.
So those will be Christmas book readings. I'll be doing the Christmas book.
And maybe, well, any piano that's, I guess if they had a piano.
They could play the music.
They could play the music. That would be
Yeah.
a lot of fun. That would be enchanting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you have any ideas for your next book that you might like to share with us?
Sure. Well, this summer's theme was the environment, and I'm thinking the next one will be about bullying. Yeah.
Okay.
So, which is
An important topic.
a very important topic.
Right.
So I am working on that right now.
Okay.
While I'm finishing up the bilingual book.
And I notice there's also other products out there that we don't have everything on display, but there's a baby bib, for example, that has, which is very cute, of course, that Montauk Mike is hungry and the baby will be wearing it. Are there any other products that we might be seeing out in the stores?
Sure. So, right. So it turns out that the first book, Montauk Has a Very Hungry Shark, for some reason became popular for baby showers, and there's a new thing now where instead of a baby shower, they have a book party where the guests bring a book for the newborn baby. And so the book was very popular for that.
Oh, that's great, yes.
And so we decided to start a baby line, and we started with a bib, which did really well. It says, "I'm a very hungry shark," and it has Montauk Mike on that. So that was for a baby line. We're also working on a plush toy.
Fabulous. That's great.
And I also have these little cards that I'm making now, like little playing cards that I'm putting in stores that have, on one side it has the cover of the book, and the other side it has like an artwork from the inside.
Beautiful.
And those will be free.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
Yeah, because it features some part of the town, like either Sag Harbor or North Fork, and so. And I'm always working on more stuff.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Anything else that you'd like to share with the audience, with us, about your work and about the series and what it's brought to you, the joy and some of the showcasing in different events?
Yeah, it's brought a lot. The fun part is it's something I always wanted to do, so that to see it happen is very fulfilling. This is what I've been wanting to do. It just took a long time, that's all. And
how long has this been in the making, from the first book to where we are now?
Well, the first book came out in 2019.
Okay.
But to get to the first book, when I met an author out here, and I asked her about publishing. She said, it takes 3 years. And I bumped into her last summer. She goes, "Oh my God, I love your books." I said, "You were right, it took 3 years." She said, "That's right, 3 years."
And is that because of the editing process, or?
You have to find a publisher.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Well, first I had to finish the project. I said, okay, this is the story I'm going to do. And then I made a dummy. I did all the artwork. I made a dummy. And what I did was I followed a book, how to publish in children's books. So I followed it step by step. And then I looked for publishers, and I sent out the letters and got all the rejection letters, and just kept going. So by the time, that took about a year. It took close to a year to make it, and then another year to find a publisher, and then to have the finished product was another year. So that's very fulfilling. And also, I love, it's just fun meeting families. Yeah.
And do you do many events in the summertime?
That very busy.
And all in Montauk? Or all over?
All over. I mean, I was even up island.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any specific names that you can share with us of the events?
Most independent bookstores, Montauk Library, we have a big event every summer. There's some camps.
Oh,
so
right.
Sometimes I do camps.
Sure.
And Harb's Farm on the North Fork.
Anything at the lighthouse?
Surprisingly, no. But each book actually opens up with the lighthouse. Okay. So this is the lighthouse in the wintertime with snow on it. The first one is the lighthouse with surfers around, and then so on. There's always a different
Very
illustration, and it opens up with the lighthouse. I mean, maybe.
Well, the series is beyond delightful. It's,
Thank you.
It's just wonderful. And the illustrations are beautiful, and the themes are all enchanting and wonderful themes for children.
Yeah, and it's fun. It really is fun meeting the families
Okay,
and the children who they're still very excited to get their books signed.
right. Oh,
They-
that's
you know,
great.
I like that because it's not a technology. It's back to simplicity. A book,
Right.
you know,
It's
and meeting.
creative.
Yeah,
It's learning.
yeah, and the kids
And it's happy.
kids
It
do
makes you
like
smile.
books, and they like to. The reason I purposely made it small, so that it could be in their little hands. They can hold it, and sometimes mothers will send pictures with their child reading. in
Oh,
bed,
that's so
you know,
nice.
And they
That's great.
so they like to carry them around, and just it's like a toy almost to them, a book. So books are not out of date. They're very much in, and yeah, it's just fun to see kids
Yes,
like
That's great.
enjoy reading,
of course, which is so important
and they ask
So
really great
important, vital
questions when I see
for the
them.
future.
Yeah,
Reading. So, Nina, thank you so much for being here. This was delightful. This was just great, and we encourage everyone to read this wonderful series.
Thanks.
So thank you again. Thank you to LTV. Everyone, be safe, be well, happy holidays. Let's have a great holiday season and a wonderful new year. Kisses.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.